But experience. Actually, I did my else. I didn't like going shopping, so I did the thing that I always needed when I worked in retail. People would buy, like, they ordered me 4 dresses. Find them all in like one little dress, a little bit. Now I'm doing. I worked at Macy's for so long with the brand that I'm familiar with, and really do know my sizes. Pretty set with like some of the stuff, but Stable, the one that I work with is having an event in February, and it's like cocktail attire. I saw it. Yeah, so I mean, it's just like, oh, that's great. So the former business is not stable, right? From did so. Thank you. Sorry for that. I'm looking for later when we get to the startup. So yeah, they're abandoning space, and I mean, I think lost and progress like so. It's Super Bowl Sunday, so we're talking. Yeah. Right now. Maybe. I got it. I'm not getting my. Well, I ordered 3 dresses, but I'll pick out the one that I want, and I'll send you the other ones. Which one? Just the reverse of everything. That's all. That's all. Just like it's really exciting to look at. Well, we're getting down so. Are you dancing as well? I am dancing. Okay. I did. I was stage crew and good old rescue squad. I was in Peterpins.
I play Ramon.
Yeah, and I think I was doing something my neck improved. Yeah, that's like years ago. So, okay, how are you? Everything's out there.
What's that?
Everything's there.
Months. I get it.
So like one thing actually really not extended serve.
Ginger brandy, a little bit earlier.
I don't know that.
There's, I'm saying the ginger brandy at least. She's more than often. I never understand the dream that she would get to the world of the long. But you can see everything.
No, I don't know how it was involved. I just read my own sleep.
Oh, thanks.
It's been very good. I went back to work, so it's been very busy.
Yeah.
But you know,
I saw in national this week.
I really.
Yeah, I have an internship in the night. That's with it's often the Renaissance.
Oh, yeah, the big one.
Yeah, it definitely takes some information. Yeah, with coffee mining company.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Thanks, Don.
They're in a holding around.
Wow.
So young and full of life, but it really was, I'm not. Where's the word?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
To do it like that, that's the test out that we bought, it on the ones.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We got a new one, welcome next month, because of them, so they've got a lot of class in here.
Yeah.
So I don't know why this one's like.
So I was mentioned.
I'll take it. Just
Yeah, maybe not any more,
what do you mean?
That's how our money is, okay? Yeah, out on the east end, but then
How close is that to,
you know, it's not far, Buffalo Road is kind of off, if you go to so we were calling
yeah.
east, maybe 10 minutes outside of the rental.
Nice.
I kind of think in there, it's amazing branch, it's really exciting. We did a game,
Yeah, my GA position on the slide back on. So I'm a different media specialist. So Envo is plans of the behind that road. And basically, we're gonna have a group of colleges and universities that hopefully small business growth.
Oh, really?
So Envo does real and strategic communication. We went a lot with the graphic design.
That's very interesting. I love that. I know, I have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
You were thought. Need us to keep that community.
In terms of any point, we moved up here a few years ago. Right about the one the pandemic.
Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to all who are here joining us in person and all who join us via our live stream on YouTube. Wonderful to come together and celebrate Shabbat, even though it's a little bit dark and a little bit wet outside. We don't have to push it, so it's good, right?
Yes.
Good. We'll invite Colleen forward to light our Shabbat candles. The blessing can be found on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to those who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Shabbat Shalom. We turn together to page 10 as we get ourselves ready to welcome Shabbat into our lives and join in Hine Matov.
Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
And on page 12, we join in L'chune Ranana. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. Raise a shout for a rock and deliverer.
L'chune Ranana, l'chune Ranana, l'chune Ranana, l'Adonai. L'chune Ranana, l'chune Ranana, l'chune Ranana, l'Adonai. Naria, Naria, litzuri shenu nekama fabetoda. Naria, Naria, litzuri shenu isli rod nairado. L'chune Ranana, l'chune Ranana, l'chune Ranana, l'Adonai. L'chune Ranana, l'chune Ranana, l'chune Ranana, l'Adonai.
And on page 20, we join together in Lecha Dodi as we welcome our Shabbat bride into our hearts and our lives.
Lecha dodi mikrat kala yalalai 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 penei Shabbat nekabela L'Shem u'Tiferet v'Litila. Echadodi ligrat kala yalalai 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 P'nei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habaracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Echadodi ligrat kala yalalai 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 P'nei Shabbat nekavela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam lesimcha u'v'tzola toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Echadodi ligrat kala yalalai 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 P'nei Shabbat nekavela.
Please be seated as we continue. Mizmor Shir Le'Yom HaShabbat, a song for Shabbat, page 22.
Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat tov lehodot l'Adonai uzamer l'shimcha elyon uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat tov lehodot l'Adonai uzamer l'shimcha elyon uzamer l'shimcha elyon. V'hagid b'boker chasdecha ve'emunatecha b'leilot alei asur v'alei navel alei higayon bechinor. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat tov lehodot l'Adonai uzamer l'shimcha elyon uzamer l'shimcha elyon. My voice is still coming back. Please forgive me.
The winter colds are among us, yes?
Right?
Right? So on page 24, we find our song of welcoming, ways we welcome each other. So find somebody you don't know, maybe somebody you haven't talked to in a while, and say hello, say Shabbat Shalom, welcome each other with these wonderful words, Shalom Aleichem, and the response is
Alechem
Alechem Shalom. Say hello.
I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Because you were out when we were out.
And so we join together as we welcome each other and we welcome Shabbat.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Malachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Morchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And we turn together to page 26 as we rise for Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadav, Yitkadash Shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yalmad Yivarach Chirutei V'yamlich Malchutei. B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayetecho Beit Yisrael. Bagala, Bagala, u'vizman kariv. Amen. Yehi Shmira B'Levorach Le'Amayah Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yitbar V'Yitramam V'Yitnaseh V'Yitadar V'Yitale V'Yitala Shemei Kudesha
Baruchu.
Leila Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechmata Damiram Be'alma Bima. Amen.
And on page 28, we join in Baruch Hu, our call to worship, telling each other and telling God that we're ready to pray.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai
HaMevorach. Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated as we continue with Ma'ariv Aravim, thanking God for the miracles and the wonders of creation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Bore yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma avir yom, umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai Tzivaot Shema. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. Page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Ahavat olam made Yisrael Amecha ahavta Amcha ahavta Torah mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otam Marita, Tanu Marita, Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha, v'nizmach v'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha l'tasir, nimenu ma'ani, baruch Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
We turn together to page 34. There we find the words of Shema, the words that compel us to listen, to hear, to really understand that God is central and unified and singular in our lives. And so we rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated as we continue with the Ahafta, page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'dvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom avecha v'shivantam lefanecha v'divartam bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'vechtecha v'terech u'shalfecha u'vekumecha u'kshartam le'ot ayadecha ve'hayu letotafot beinecha u'chatan al mezuzot beitecha u'v'yisharecha le'man tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem yedoshim Elohechem ani Adonai asher hoseti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiyot lachem l'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem.
Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory together. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Mi chama elim Adonai, mi kamocha nigdar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh.
Seems to be a sound something. Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Va'al Yerushalayim.
Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. As we join in Vishamru, thanking God for the opportunities that we have to celebrate Shabbat together.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Page 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. So we rise for Amidah, page 46. Adonai sifatai tiftach v'tiagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gonel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chazdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei v'neihem, L'man Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav Hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech memit umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emar atah lachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Kadoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated as we continue, page 53. Let's join together, top of the page. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. And let's join together, top of page 57. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. And together on the top of page 61, grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atah Melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atah Melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
We take a few moments. We leave the prayer book aside and look inward to those thoughts, those prayers that are in our own hearts and minds. Some moments of silent prayer.
Leratzon imrefi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Vegali, Vegali.
We turn together to page 253. And there we find our prayer for healing, a way for us to send energy to those who need, whether it's healing of body or mind or heart or soul. And in our congregation, we especially mention Steve Tottleben, Diane Levy, Joan Rosenthal, Sarah Parton, Martha Snyder, Brooke Gelman, Jay Kaler, Debbie Perry, Shelley Schloss, Diane Kaler, Jay Schuster, Lori Samuels, Dane Marcinowski, Maggie Lee, Sydney Scrementi, Kat Winslow, Sandra French, and John Myers. If you're joining us via live stream and you would like to add a name, please add the name into our chat. If you are here in person and would like to add a name, please do so as I look around.
Linda Cotsaro and Norma Stevens.
We join together in our prayer for healing.
Misheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Imotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion, Vayera, opens with God affirming this covenant or covenantal connection that Moses has with the ancestors. There is this sort of recitation of these connections, including lineage, a series of genealogies, if you will. And what is interesting or striking to me this week is that we are actually in this weekend was going to be the 50th anniversary of the Roe v. Wade decision. And the question is for us, just as Moses is lifting up his ancestral legacy of the ideas and insights that he has inherited, what is our legacy to lift up? You know, the legacy of our reproductive history, and how do we honor that? How do we honor the children born and also healthy decisions, caring decisions made by those not wishing to have children? Perhaps both are ways that we partner with God. one of the commentaries I was reading actually taught me about a character that I knew very little about. Her name is Serach bat Asher. She's mentioned briefly in Shemot in the Torah, but we don't really know much about her. And if we look at the rabbinic text, the Midrash, which tries to sort of embellish or explain the things that were missing in the Torah, they give her this amazing history. She is said to have accompanied Jacob down to Egypt. She is said to be the 70th of the 70 who arrive in Egypt. She is there for the entire time they're in Egypt, and she actually makes it all the way through history to King David. She lives a good long life. Right? Now, of course, this is Midrash, and this is the rabbis kind of putting their interpretation, their spin. But maybe it's that sense of the presence of that kind of person is in our community and in our lives. Throughout this portion, Moses reminds God that he is aral sfatayim. He is tongue-tied or slow of speech. And yet he is prolific, yes? You know that great quote from Fiddler on the Roof? For a guy with a slow tongue, he sure talked a lot. You know, this is Moses and his perseverance. And Serach teaches us of perseverance. She's the one who reminds Moses that, and so as the Midrash teaches, when Joseph died, what was Joseph's last request? Does anybody know? Don't leave me in Egypt, right? Don't leave me in Egypt. Take me back when you leave. Now, it's interesting because it's several hundred years, it could be 400 years, actually, that exists between the death of Joseph and when we leave Egypt. But nevertheless, there is this looming promise that the community makes to take the bones of Joseph with us when we leave Egypt. But the Midrash says, well, but they didn't know where they were. They didn't know where Joseph was buried. Time had passed, they just don't know. It is Serach who comes to them and says, when Joseph died, he was entombed in a sealed casket and was put in the River Nile. And it's crazy. It's a crazy story, but so Moses is shown the place, and Moses calls on the bones of Joseph, and the casket rises up out of the Nile so that we can carry it over to the land of Israel. Julie's laughing. You're not buying? Okay, but why would our tradition make up these stories? Perhaps Serach is actually our collective memories, right? Perhaps she is the collective memory that weaves its way through history, right? Perhaps she is the experience that sits on our shoulders so that we can know where to go and what to do or how to say. And so Moses is there, and he is persistent, yes? Who is Moses after all? He is the son of an Israelite turned Egyptian prince, turned fugitive, who comes back to convince Pharaoh that the Jews should be able to leave. And of course, he's a bit hesitant to go back and demand this, but is told that he's really going to have to work for it. That not only is he going to have to work for it, but that God's going to provide some miracles, but that nobody's going to believe these miracles and is going to make it even more difficult because God is going to harden Pharaoh's heart. Jordan and I had a conversation about that earlier. And the questions become, well, why is God making it more difficult? You would think that God could just have said, okay, I'm God. Guess what? The Jews are leaving. Thank you so much. It's been nice. Goodbye. Why go through all of these, the plagues and all of the drama around it, and Moses having to sort of demonstrate his connections to God and the powers and all of those kinds of things? And the rabbis really answer it and say, well, maybe the plagues weren't for the Egyptians. Maybe the plagues were for us. Because the plagues are actually later in history used by Jewish ideas and theology and philosophy as a way of saying, this is what God does for us. God takes care of us and delivers us through these trials and tribulations. Now, you can say, well, okay, well, I haven't seen any plagues or miracles in a number of years now. So how does that work? Well, the rabbinic answer is, we just don't see them in this dramatic way anymore. We see them in the little ways, the little miracles that happen. The things that happen to us that we take for granted, the people that we meet that bring us to a different place in our lives, the interactions that we have with people that bring us happiness in our lives. The landscape that we deal with right now in terms of reproductive access and choices has changed radically since the Supreme Court invalidated the Roe v. Wade decision. So the question, I think, for us is, how do we kind of represent Moses? We who have a several thousand-year tradition of advocating for reproductive choice. It's in the biblical text. It's in the rabbinic texts. It's all very clear that this is something that's part of decisions that have to be made. We've got work to do. February 17th, we'll be joining with congregations all over in a program known as Repo Shabbat, Reproductive Rights Shabbat. And we'll explore some of these issues and some of the history and the tradition of what our tradition says about abortion and reproductive rights and all of those kinds of things. But for now, how do we take that emblematic mission of Moses and say, even though the hearts are hardened, even though the opposition is strengthened, how do we continue to speak out and speak up for what we know is right? Shabbat Shalom. So we turn together to Aleinu, page 282. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol hateit gedula le'yotzeh b'reishit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chalkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam va'anachnu korim ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה הארץ ומושב יקרה בשמיים עמו ושכינתו זו Begove meromim, hu Eloheinu Einod, Malkinu Zulato, Kakatu Betorato, Beadata Yom Behashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai hu Elohim, Bashamayim imaha, ve'aretz mitachat einod, ve'nemar ve'hayadonai, Melech al haaretz, bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and of death. We are in the period of Shloshim for Leland Howard Kreutzer, and we observe Yahrzeit on this Shabbat for Emily Bostwick, Abraham Castleman, J.H. Koch, Leonard Paul, Morris Schaffner, Erna Harfbaum, Pauline Goldberg, James Reynolds, Joseph Stern, Abram Schuster, Rosa Schmidt-Kitchen, Jeanette N. Sanders, Esther Emmerman, Toby Joe Sherman, Lyman Fellheim, and Sylvia K. Berman. If you are joining us via live stream and you have a name that you would like to add, please add the name into our chat. If anyone here in person would like to add a name, please do so. So we turn to words of Kaddish on page 294 as we rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'le'ameh amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechmata. Damiran b'yolma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Please be seated. I'd like to welcome Julie Cohen forward to share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. Jesse, it's so good to have you back. And Jesse and Rabbi, thank you for the beautiful service. The services tonight are in memory of Sylvia Berman. Some announcements. Tomorrow morning, there will be services here at Temple and also on Zoom at 10 a.m. and Torah study at 11 a.m. Again, both here in person and on Zoom. We're going to be having a TGIS and Tu B'Shvat celebration on Friday, February 3rd. So I think that's 2 weeks. Join us for services at 6:15, and that will be followed by a Tu B'Shvat Seder and then dinner. The cost is $20 per person. It's free for children 10 and under. And the payment is due before the event, and that's your confirmation. So please call the office, send in a check, and you should bring along your favorite fruit and nut dessert to share. A couple of other announcements that are not on your sheet. The book club is meeting on Monday, this coming Monday at 7:30 on Zoom. And the book is called The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. So even if you haven't read the book, I have read the book. It's a very, very interesting book, and I think that you might enjoy the discussion anyway. But that is, if you need to know how to hook up to that, again, you can call the office and they can send you the information. And then just to prepare everybody, in February, we will be collecting shoes for a charity. So if you go through your closet to that place in the back where those shoes that you haven't worn in 4 or 5 years, as long as they're gently worn or new, you can donate shoes in February. And I'd also like to welcome our visitors who are here tonight. Shabbat Shalom.
We will join together in Kiddush and thanking God for the opportunity of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzon b'anu v'shabbat kodsho v'yahavu v'ratzon v'chiranu. Zikaron b'ma'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila v'nikra'e kodesh. Zecher tziyat mitzrayim, ki v'anu Yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hirchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
And we join together in Motzi.
Hamotzi La'aretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together, as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Stay safe. And we are going to close with
Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimrama. Oseh Shalom aleinu. Ve'ol kol Yisrael. Ve'yiru amen.
Yaseh Shalom.
Yaseh Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. That voice